Welcome to Kentucky Roll Call.
Here's a swing and a drive to deep left. Back goes Nixon. Looking up. Daly wins it. Daly wins it. Daly wins it.
With Walker and Peak.
Woodson from the gun. Play fake. Step it up. He's throwing deep down the near sideline. He's got Johnson. 20. Down. 5. Touchdown. Kentucky.
When Mitch called me and talked to me about being the head coach here at Kentucky, I understand the assignment. We are here to win banners.
Back outside. This is the point where he always hits it. Oh! Aaron Harrison beyond belief.
Hello, everybody. Happy St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, 2026. This is Kentucky Roll Call on Big X Sports Radio, 96.1 FM, 1450 AM. Hopefully you're wearing your green, unless you want to get pinched.
Hang on.
Uh-oh.
Socks? Nope. No green at all.
Oh, well, gonna have to pinch you when you least expect it. Not a big just wearing green on St. Patrick's Day kind of guy?
You know, I'm not. It's not because I don't want to participate. It's because I don't remember that it's St. Patrick's Day.
I guess that's a little bit better, but I don't know. St. Patrick's, like, not a ton going on in March in ways of holidays.
There's a lot going on in March. We got T.J. Walker's birthday last week.
A lot going on in March, but you're a March birthday all the same.
Yeah.
Our birthday month is kind of defined by the color green.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I should wear my Trinity Shamrock stuff in here so we can have
There
the
you
X
go.
and Trinity.
Although they don't play basketball this week.
They're out?
They're out. Yeah.
So the
7th
season's
region
over.
champs, St. X, made sure Trinity could not advance.
It's a big day for you guys.
St. X, they get back at it tomorrow. Hopefully we don't get upset in the first round of the Sweet 16. But taking on best two teams going at it. I would also say North Oldham would have something to say about the best two teams sort of deal. But I would say those are definitively the best three teams, St. X, Covington Catholic, and North Oldham. Boys Sweet 16 gets underway with the St. X versus Covington Catholic tomorrow, 11 a.m. You can hear it right here on Big X Sports Radio. It will bump Kentucky Roll Call to a later start, and hopefully we'll have Jacob on the show. We haven't totally planned everything out completely yet, but we won't be starting until around 12:30 tomorrow, give or take, and then the same on Thursday as well. Just some programming notes for you. I do have my green on today. I haven't really done anything by way of celebrating St. Patrick's Day, and I won't. We're supposed to have Spring League U5 soccer practice outdoors today.
Outdoors?
Yes.
It's like 25 degrees right now.
Yes. The YMCA has not yet canceled it.
Okay, but
I'm a coach, and I just had to make a message yesterday being like, all right, we'll keep you updated on practice for tomorrow. Right now it's looking like it's going to be 26 degrees at 5:30 when we're supposed to get going. But, just be on the lookout. And really what I want to say is, hey, you dingbats, nobody come to this practice tomorrow. It's going to be 27 degrees.
Right.
But I almost feel like there's this obligation, being the coach, that I need to be there just in case, a kid does show up. And then what am I going to do? Just kick the ball back and forth in 27-degree weather with a little 4-year-old that I don't know? So I'm hoping the YMCA does the right thing and go ahead and just cancel it. Otherwise, I may have to do that myself. But, yes, we're supposed to get underway with soccer practice tonight. Otherwise, I don't know how I would celebrate St. Patrick's Day. I won't be going to a pub or having any green beer. Although I do like to have a green beer on St. Patrick's Day. Don't know why. It's just a beer. Maybe have something to do potentially with some alcoholism. I don't know. But it just feels like a holiday. The holiday's a little bit better when you get a green beer. Producer Matt, do you have green on?
I do not.
Are you celebrating the holiday?
Celebration? No, I'm not celebrating the celebration.
It's quite literally a holiday. It's a feast day of St. Patrick.
I'm quite literally still at work, so it is not a holiday.
Well, that just because you're at work doesn't mean it's not a holiday. Some people work on Christmas.
Yeah, that's for them. It's not a holiday.
Well, it is.
When I worked at UPS, that wasn't a holiday.
Okay, well, you will be getting a pinch, and Stephen Peak will be getting a pinch. Do you all just want to pinch each other? A little double jeopardy pinch situation?
Yeah.
Take care of each other?
Yeah, we'll do that.
Or we
Mutual pinching?
we can just pinch ourselves and we just tell each other we did it.
No, no, that's not allowed. You can't just honor system.
Now we're just making rules that don't.
Well, I don't make them, obviously, but I do enforce them. And one day of the year, you're asked to wear green, and you two guys just came short, came up flat.
Well, you're Mr. I can wear whatever I want.
Yes. Yeah. On St. Patrick's Day, though, honor.
But there are consequences.
Now we're just throwing our morals out the window.
Pete does at least have the Kentucky roll call shirt on. Maybe we can get a green one for the future.
Yeah, there you go. I think you've had green ones in the past.
I have not.
Okay, well, I thought I saw a green.
I would like a Kentucky roll call green shirt. Everybody have a good Monday? Every brackets looking good?
Brackets are perfect right now. I'm gonna try to keep it that way, TJ, for the rest of March and then first Monday of April. I had a great day yesterday. I had to tell my coworkers that I needed this one night. I promised my wife that we would have a date night last night, so we had to move some stuff up. But it was great. We did a date night from home. So like we got dressed up, and they were like, "Do we really want to go anywhere?" And we were like, "No." So we made pizza at home, and we played games, and listened to music. It was a good time.
Well, that sounds really nice. That sounds awesome, honestly. The only issue with that though is like when rubber meets the road, I should say.
Yeah.
Is that like you are just in the place that you spend every other waking moment 24/7.
Yeah, no, but rubber never met the road because we didn't leave the house. So
but when
Yes.
When you're having a stay in date night, it's fun and it's exciting and it's cool, but then you do realize that at a certain point, like getting out of the house, regardless of where you're going, sometimes it's just fun.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Maybe it's a kid thing with me where it's just like, you know what?
Maybe.
Just like there's toys everywhere. I just need to see literally anything else. I need to not see a messy living room for 30 minutes, please. Like, maybe that's just
so we cleaned the house
thing.
And then we made pizza, and then we played Italian music on the Alexa, and then we made the kitchen table and put candles, little fake candles, in jars, and it was neat.
That's really neat.
Had a good time.
You could have played. And we better have St. Patrick's Day music, producer Matt. You could have played St. Patrick's Day music and had bangers and mash.
Yes, that's true. It's true. But I think maybe tonight we'll do an Irish-themed stay-at-home date night. No, it was cool. We had some plans. We were going to go out and do some stuff. We were going to go hit some golf balls over at 5 Iron. And
nice.
Yeah. And but she's been doing these workouts at this gym, and she said my arms are way too tired. I cannot do that.
Can't swing the golf club.
Yeah.
Understandable. St. Patrick's Day. What UK game comes to mind with you for St. Patrick's Day?
You're gonna have to probably give me this one because I'm struggling.
All right, a couple that come to mind just off the top of my head. I don't have it pulled up.
I have a ton from Easter,
but a ton from Easter. Interesting enough. Let's see. St. Patrick's Day, I believe Western Kentucky in 2012, Anthony Davis, that opening round game.
Yeah.
I believe that was on St. Patrick's Day. Could have been the Iowa State game. One of those two definitely was. I believe it was the Western Kentucky game. I think maybe Princeton, the Brandon Knight last second shot, that was either on St. Patrick's Day or the day before. That was right around there.
Well, that would have been the same day that Morehead State beat Louisville.
Yes. Yes, I'm pretty sure that was St. Patrick's Day, or at least when everybody was celebrating St. Patrick's Day. That was a big one. And then the one, so here I am off to a hot start, two games that I'm pretty sure was maybe St. Patrick's Day. Here's the one I can say definitively. UK beating UNLV in the NIT in 2009. Perry flexed them bones Stevenson, dunking all over UNLV. That game at Memorial Coliseum. Kentucky got the win. That one was on St. Patrick's Day, so that one comes to mind for me, Stephen Peak.
Yeah, I know that the game you went to in 2005 was the day before Easter.
Yes.
So when we get to Easter, I'll come up with some good games. I cannot remember the.
Well, no, that one would have been Easter Sunday. The game in 2005. That game was on.
That's
Sunday.
right. You're right. Yes, that's true. It was on Easter Sunday. My rabbit died the next day, so that's what I was thinking.
We went to Mass, and we were like, all right, well, it's not going to hurt to go to Mass before Kentucky plays an Elite Eight game. We're in Austin, Texas. Obviously, Easter churches were packed. We were able to find one. It was Spanish-speaking. They had auxiliary seating outside, so we sat outside to a Spanish Mass that we couldn't understand, but maybe one of every 100 words. And and it didn't matter. UK still unfortunately
Hey, there's
lost.
a great website that I found some good information on. Sorry, go ahead. I want to
In heartbreaking fashion. I do have another story unrelated to that, but what's the great website?
It's called KentuckySportsRadio.com, and they have a post from. It's actually a little old. It's 2023, but it's Kentucky's history on St. Patrick's Day since 1950.
Wow.
They've played. I can't count all these up, but they've only lost 4 times. They've won a lot more, and the last time they lost was to St. Peter's in overtime.
Oh yeah, that one was on St. Patrick's Day.
Ugh.
Because
St. Peter's Day. Ugh.
That I did briefly kind of forget until you just brought it up. But we intentionally were like, all right, we want to go to a place that's not going to be stupid crowded for St. Patrick's Day, so let's go to like the most non-Irish sports bar that we could find. And we went to it, and it wasn't stupid crowded, so we were successful. Unfortunately, as it so happens, everybody roots for an underdog. There are other Cats fans there, but it basically turned into a hostile road environment and had to watch UK get upset to St. Peter's on the road. Pretty devastating. Wow, so you all have got the history of UK on St. Patrick's Day?
12-4 all time. Well, since 1950, 12-4 on St. Patrick's Day. Have they played since 24? Did they play in 2023? I guess they did.
Was that the Providence game?
Yes, and so
Providence. I think that one was the St.
13-4.
I think that one was the St. Patrick's Day. I remember that one. We went to a buddy's house. That was a good one. It was just like, oh my goodness, we need to see UK win a tournament game, please, for the love of Pete. They did, or for the love of Patrick, I guess I should say. Hey, get your text into the Gameday Men's Health text line 502-414-1450. Text it on in. We'll do our best to read it on air. According to Scoots, the text line has just been out of control today. So that's exciting. Hope that continues here for Kentucky Roll Call. Still having issues with the podcasting platform, unfortunately. Wish I had any sort of power to be able to fix it or be able to do anything with it. But in the meantime, make sure you're going to the Big X Sports Radio podcasting page. That's where we're being uploaded. And then we are on the YouTube page if you want to join us there. All right, 502-414-1450, Gameday Men's Health text line. The big dance gets started tonight. Woo! UMBC, UMadbro College versus Howard at 6:40, True TV. They're in Dayton, Ohio, UD Arena. We got 2 basically pick-ems, so neither game will feature teams that are going to compete for a national championship or anything like that. But UMBC giving 1.5 to the Howard Bison, and then Texas versus NC State. That line has flipped and flopped back and forth one way or another.
And what makes you say that they're not going to compete for the national championship?
I don't think Texas or NC State's going to compete for a national championship, and no disrespect to UMBC or Howard. I guess you could make a case if you're playing in the NCAA tournament, you are by definition competing for the national championship.
You know,
all things
don't
considered.
forget about VCU and Syracuse, who both in that play-in game as 11 seeds made the Final Four.
Neither one technically competed for a national championship.
That's true. They never made it one round further. But they were the first team to win 5 games to make it to the Final Four.
Not impossible that you could see one of these. I guess if there were a team from the first 4 that you would think could make a run, I would go Texas or SMU. That both those teams have great scoring guards that if they just got hot, if it's a big game, or if their guards have big shooting games, I guess I should say, I could see them winning a few in March. Texas has like an unbelievable offense if you just go by paper. Obviously, it doesn't work out. It hasn't totally meshed. But Dylan Swain, we got to see him against Kentucky. He's great. They got the big Vokaitis, big guy who is fun to watch. Tremont Mark, who we remember from many, many years ago. He's like the 3rd option on Texas. We've seen him put up 30 points. Jordan Pope is an elite scorer.
Pope.
You get those 4 people, and you're like, all right, they can theoretically outscore anybody. But they're 18-14, so they haven't outscored a lot of bodies, unfortunately. But no, I can't believe. I would think Texas would be like a 3.5 or 4-point favorite. That line's a little stinky to me. And I think Texas is a little bit more battle-tested coming out of the SEC than NC State and the ACC, although the ACC did have a better year this year than last year. But, I think Texas should win that one somewhat comfortably.
Texas coming in hot, losing 5 of their last 6.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's terrible. I mean, that didn't.
I was literally listening to another radio show, and they were like, Texas pretty hot coming into the tournament, though. And I couldn't remember. I just off the top of my head, I couldn't properly be like, are they or are they not? But I did remember they lost to Ole Miss, right?
By 10.
Started Ole Miss's
They
run.
kept that one.
I was like, well,
10.
that wasn't a good loss. And Ole Miss, I guess, kind of vindicated that ever so slightly by winning a couple more games. But I was like, is Texas hot going in the tournament? People just say stuff, right?
Nobody,
this time of the year, that people just say stuff. People that have watched very little college basketball, they'll just come in. They don't care. They'll just say whatever.
They've had some ups. They've had some downs.
Oh, Mike Francesco.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, we're going to have to play that, I think. We're going to have to get that clip up. Also, wouldn't mind playing the Leprechaun clip. If y'all see the Leprechaun say, yeah.
Yeah, my favorite part of that is the special Leprechaun flute that was passed down from thousands of generations from his great-grandfather. His great-grandfather's 1,000 years old.
Do we think that producer Matt's seen that video?
Of course he has. Matt?
Haven't seen it.
Oh!
What?
At least, not that I know of.
It's not
seen that?
It's not ringing any bells.
This amateur sketch shows what people believe the
in
Leprechaun
Mobile,
thinks.
Alabama. All right, well, I'm going to send it over to you. We'll just play the thing in its entirety. Who cares? And what else did I say I wanted to play today? What audio?
Francesca.
Yeah.
Breaking down the
let me
teams.
get that one pulled up, too.
You could literally play that at any year. Everything he says is the most generic breakdown of a basketball team. You know, they're good sometimes, but when shots don't go in, TJ, you know, they're susceptible to getting
and then he
beat.
forgets that I think like Maryland left the ACC. Like the clip has it all. There's maybe a couple different clips, but yeah, he's like they got some good wins, they got some bad wins. They were a little inconsistent some part of the year, other part of the year not so much.
If you have that accent, people do just like go along with it. I feel like, you know, it's a good accent for radio.
Yeah, I gotta see if this is the right one, but.
Did you see the new? I know we'll talk about this eventually, but the Yaxel Lindenberg quote and story that came out yesterday. I think I don't know who he was doing an interview with. I saw the report from the AP News.
I think it was with the Associated Press. He did the interview.
Oh, okay.
I think I don't know. I don't remember who it was, but I think he did the interview directly with them.
So he just goes on there and just flat out lies, doesn't he?
Yeah, I was. Well, I actually had this take when I tweeted it out yesterday. Just like whoever Yaxel Lindenberg's representation needs to be fired immediately. And then I almost quote tweeted that, and I was like, all right, hold on here.
Yaxel Lindenborg.
Lindenborg. I think that's correct, right?
Maybe. I know it's Linda. It's not Lindenberg. It's Lindenborg.
Lindenborg.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's ORG at the end.
You know, I was told the other day that Denzel Washington is actually not pronounced. It's pronounced Denzel. Is that right?
I don't know.
I'm just saying, like that once people once we all decide what we're gonna call somebody, that just becomes their name anyway.
Yeah,
and Yaxel Lindenberg, I've just been calling him Lindenberg, and so is everyone else.
That's the whole like Bijan Robinson thing, where he's like, it's not Bijan, it's Bijan.
Ryan Sandberg, it's Ryan Sandberg.
Jacob Polachek.
Yes, another one, very famous writer, Jacob Polachek.
Yeah, but the second take was either he's a liar or he's just dumb.
Certainly not a truther.
And then I heard Mark Story on the Leach report today, and they brought up that report, and Mark Story, who an older gentleman, classy guy, newspaper background, he's not a hot take Stephen A. Smith sort of dude, and he went, yeah, well if that's true, Yaxel's a moron.
Yeah,
and Tom Leach like spit out his coffee. He was just like, that was a quote of our show. I can't believe you said that. And it is true. Like, so either these two things are true. He's telling the truth, and he's a complete and total moron.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I don't like to be mean, and that's mean words. I don't like calling somebody a moron. But if you're passing up $9 million to play 1 year of college basketball, you are a moron. That is subjective. You're just a moron if you're passing up $9 million to play 1 year of college basketball. Or he's a liar.
He's in it for the love of the game, TJ. He doesn't want to get paid. He just wants to ball.
So none of this comes back on Mark Pope. It's true. It's all Yaxel Lindenborg.
It's just listen, producer Matt.
Sound like a little bit of copium.
Okay, you're right. This is the radio show that always is butt slapping Mark Pope. If there's been one show that will go out of their way one show that goes out of their way to make sure it's rainbows and sunshine for Mark Pope, it's this one, right?
Get this bozo out of here. That was your post-game show.
This one doesn't even pass the smell test for that.
I'm just saying.
We want to blame Pope. We would love an opportunity to blame Pope. And honestly, this isn't an ideal look for Pope, but it just isn't true, though. It's so past the
But how do
smell
you know
test.
it's not true?
Because nobody would pass up an additional
But
$4 or $5 million.
That's just subjective.
It is factual, producer
It's not.
Matt.
It's
It
literally
is.
not factual.
It is factual. You just have to use your brain for this.
Oh my gosh.
You just have to use your brain for it.
So much copium.
Man, I wish we could blame Pope. How embarrassing! But do you really think that's true? Do you think a dude passed up, and it's not passing up $9 million because he's getting paid something from Michigan? But do you really think somebody would say, who is in their fourth year of college basketball, maybe fifth, and their NBA options aren't looking all that great? You think that they would say, I'm going to pass up an additional $5 million a year to play at one school versus another?
Well,
You
what
think
does,
that
what
is
does he
legitimate?
gain from lying about that?
Just yes or no?
What does he gain from lying about that?
To make it seem like he's more endeared to Michigan, that
Right,
he's
right.
Wolverine through and
Really?
through, that other places wanted to pay me
This
more.
late
but-
in the season?
yeah, it's tournament time. The locker
They're
rooms are
already
open.
in the tournament. They're already locked to the 1 seed.
Locker rooms are
open.
open. You finally can have these quotes. You can get reporters to sit down with players and get one-on-ones and back and forth that you can't get throughout the season. It is no coincidence that this story came out when it did. It's because that you wouldn't get an opportunity to have this back and forth with Yaxel. It's because locker rooms are open right now that you got that during the Big Ten tournament. And I definitely would have followed up with it and been like, hold on a second, Yaxel. You're definitively sure that you were offered $7 to $9 million from Kentucky to play there, and you turned that down? Oh, I would have keyed in on it and followed up with it and really driven it home. Because what the truth probably is that his representation probably said, yeah, after incentives and after endorsement deals, you could have maybe gotten $7 million from Kentucky. Just maybe, one, to show off how good of an agent that he was.
Right.
And then secondly, just to make Yaxel seem cool.
Yeah,
Like, this is how badly you're wanted, but we'll accept Michigan's offer of $4 million or $5 million.
I also like that it's $7 to $9 million. Like it was like a choice between the two. Like, could he have said, the $7 million you just get the standard Yaxel, but at $9 million you get Yaxel Plus, or you get the premium
This
Yaxel
has
for
been
$9
my
million?
favorite conversation
Yaxel
between
plus
every Kentucky radio show. This is the only one I will stand on. The amount of copium that has been spit out today from this article has been absolutely ridiculous. Like,
you haven't had a good point besides just saying the word copium.
you haven't
out
had a
loud.
good point just saying it's not factual. There's no proof that says it's not factual.
There's
You are
also
just
no proof
saying
that it is
words.
factual.
My goodness.
You're right. There's not.
There's no
not
proof that it is. But do
But
people,
until
all right,
it is
producer
proven
Matt, stop.
false.
Hold on.
It's
Do
until
people
it's proven
exaggerate
false.
about money? Could people exaggerate about money? Does that
Yes,
happen in the
they
mill
do.
era? Okay, so that does. Definitely could be the scenario here. Could it make him look like he's more of a Michigan man if he tells media there that, listen, I passed up millions to come play here. That's how badly I wanted to be here on this team and play for Dusty May. Do you think that Michigan fans would like to hear that, or they wouldn't care to hear it?
They would like to hear that.
Okay, so
And the fact that he's not saying,
I'm
like,
providing some evidence for you for why he would stand to benefit from being exaggeratory.
And all that evidence has led to could this have happened? Could this have happened? Could this have happened?
And then
none of it has been proven. There's just no reason to go in here and say definitively this is not true until it is proven not true. That is all I'm saying.
But why would he say a range? Like, why? I would believe it more if he said I was offered. Like, you know how people just make up numbers? They offered me 8.4 million. I'd be like, dang, it's a very specific number.
It's okay to be upset about it, but it's not okay to just sit here and say it's just not factual.
No,
There's no evidence.
I'm telling you, producer Matt, is that Kentucky did not offer Yaxel Lindenborg $7 to $9 million to come play. I'm telling you that factually.
You're telling me.
I'm telling you it factually to be true, and Yaxel is misinformed or mistaken or exaggerated intentionally, because nobody would pass that up. And I get your angle here, and this is good radio, but your angle is Mark Pope is such a dweeb that somebody turned down an additional $5 million because they didn't want to play with him because he's that much of a goober. Okay, so what did Otega? How much do you think Otega was getting paid? How much could he have gotten paid somewhere else?
$4 million.
But he was all right playing for Mark Pope. Then why would anybody be willing to accept millions of dollars to play with him, but Yaxel wouldn't?
I mean, he has the role of Dusty May, who's been to a Final Four before. They also built a pretty good roster around him, which Kentucky had not at that point.
Well, it was so early in the game. I don't think Michigan had built really anything.
So at that point, early in the game, they're offering him it's a substantial amount of money to say, hey, come in here, we're going to pay you this much money, and basically hinder the rest of the team from being put together. If it's that early in the game.
What do you mean? UK or Michigan?
Because he obviously took a substantial pay cut. If it's factual, if it's true.
No, I mean, Matt, you're just talking at your ass, unfortunately, buddy. And I like you, but this is why you're kind of just scrambling and you're going from dead end to dead end.
What dead end are we talking about?
Yaxel, when he entered the portal, Kentucky instantly was linked to him. Happened right away. And kind of stayed linked to him for a little while. And the way that I remember it, and if I'm wrong on the text line, or if I'm wrong, producer Matt or Peak, feel free to correct me. The way that I remembered that recruitment was hot and heavy early on, as it so often happens with UK and anybody in the portal or anybody with recruitment. Like, oh, my goodness, Kentucky's the favorite. You heard a lot about it, started to cool off, and then it just died off a cliff. And when people were like, hold on, whatever happened with Yaxel, the scuttlebutt that came out was that he's going through the draft process, and Kentucky didn't want to wait around to see if he was going to go pro. And at that time, producer Matt, the way that I remember it is it seemed like he was probably actually going to go pro. It was a bit of a surprise when he came back and said, I'm not going pro. I'm going to play at Michigan. And I think he had previously already committed to Michigan with the understanding that, like, I'm committing here, but I may not be going here. I just would have a hard time believing at any step in the way, early in the process, middle of the process, late in the process, Kentucky would come in, offer $5 to $6 million more dollars than Michigan, and Yaxel would say, oh, you know what? Mark Pope just is so bad, I just can't do it. I may never make this much money playing basketball ever again, but you know what? The Michigan setup is just so much better for me. I'll say no to that $5 million. The
20th pick is what he's predicted to be next year's draft.
Oh, is he really that high?
Yeah, so that's a $3 million.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you doing?
Yeah. It just, I mean, maybe Matt, maybe it's exactly how it all went down, but boy, that would be really dumb.
What did Michigan have to pay? What if they ended up paying $9 million also? And he just.
Well, no, I think it was like, part of the quote was he got like a third to go to Michigan, or like half to go to Michigan. So,
that's another thing too.
We estimating it was around $3 to $4 million.
We need there to be like offer sheets for this. There needs to be a little bit more transparency.
Totally agree. Yeah.
Like you can't just we can't keep doing this.
Supposedly behind the scenes they do. Like, oh, you're offered this much of this school. Can you show me that offer?
Lie.
And
but they still lie about it. Because other schools will up a price to get the other school to get out, and then they'll renegotiate. It's not a good system what we got right now. Because Matt, you follow the transfers over there in Europe for soccer. They have to have official offer sheets in for players, correct?
Yes.
You get to see them.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like there just needs to be more transparency.
I would love that. I don't think we'll ever get to that point, but I do feel like if you ever lost a recruit. Well,
right now they get to say, well, they offered more money.
I was going to say, if you ever lost a recruit, I'm just talking out loud here, would it ever be in your benefit to come out and be like, hey, we didn't get this recruit, wasn't for a lack of trying, here's our offer sheet we gave to him, this is what we offered him.
Yeah.
He said it wasn't good enough for him, but just so y'all know, like, we come correct, we come with big offers. I guess you could theoretically do that if a player committed to you as well, just showing you what the deal is. But then you start to kind of give away your secrets a little bit, so that's why they wouldn't do it. Okay, I talked myself out of that one.
Kentucky was what? I guess you take $3 million off of one player that plays his position that they pay. So then Kentucky would have spent what? We're talking like $28 million on the roster then.
That's a good point. And did all that $9 million go directly to JQ, or did they take some of that? But of course, they were never going to offer Yaxel $9 million. That's an insane amount. But if they did, and he still turned it down, then producer Matt's right. That's a pretty big issue if you're offering somebody double or triple the money at another school, and they're still not wanting to play for you for whatever reason. So fun debate there to get things started here on this St. Patrick's Day. But things really got started on this St. Patrick's Day this morning when let me do the math here, 72-year-old father was kicked out of a McDonald's, thrown out of a McDonald's this morning. Hear that story and more on Kentucky Roll Call on Big. This is true on Big X Sports Radio. Sadly, very true. We're back after this.
Alzheimer's gone over, the clock can carry
Kentucky Roll Call here on Big X Sports Radio. Stephen Peak, producer Matt Childers, TJ Walker, 96.1 FM, 1450 AM. And I forgot to tease it going into that commercial break, although I did mention it to start the show. We're having Dylan Ballard on this
Love
segment.
Dylan.
Dylan Ballard joining us now on Kentucky Roll Call. You know Dylan from all sorts of different social media, at Dylan Ballard _UK. He writes and takes amazing pictures for A Sea of Blue and wears a million different hats. Dylan, what's up, buddy? How are you?
I'm doing great. You guys caught me at a good time. Normally during the day anymore, I'm working hard. I run a real estate company, and but today I'm actually in Dallas working on some real estate stuff. So I'm actually in between meetings. So you guys had me for about 10 minutes, and caught me at the perfect timing.
Yeah, well, I'm happy that we did. I know that you're, like I said, I know that you're busy. Hope everything in Dallas is going well, and then you'll work your way up to St. Louis, I'm sure, here for the opening round, and then ideally then some for UK. You'll be there, right?
Oh yeah, I fly back into Louisville. I already had these flights scheduled for 6 months before I knew where we were going to be. So I fly back in Wednesday night at like 1 in the morning. So it really couldn't have worked out better. I'll head on straight to St. Louis and then be there for Thursday for practice. So literally worked out perfect for me. I was watching the selection show, praying for St. Louis. It would make it the best for me, for my situation. I'd have figured something else out, other cities, but this worked out absolutely perfect for me.
I was, Peak said the same, and I was also in a similar boat where I was like, if they're in St. Louis, I think I'm going to go. I think I'm going to make the trip. Sure enough, they're in St. Louis, so we should all be there. We'll have to have a little roll call, Blue meetup down there. Dylan, what did you make? There's a million things I could ask you, but what did you make of Kentucky's draw, getting the 7 seed, getting Santa Clara in the first round, the first game on Friday, 12:15. That'll be a very early start for Santa Clara, and 11 o'clock local start for both teams, obviously, with St. Louis being in Central Time, and then Iowa State being the 2 seed, taking on Tennessee State. Interesting coaching ties there with Nolan Smith. But what did you make of Kentucky's seeding, the pod, all that?
So I think, when you're a 7 seed, I'm not trying to harp on this team any more than, I've already done or other people have already done. But when you're a 7 seed, I don't think you can complain about who your 10 is or what those kind of things happen. You put yourself in that situation. I personally know that people are down right now and discouraged. But, guys, if we're going to be mad at, hey, we cannot beat a team from the WCC, then, this still is Kentucky to some extent, right? And I'm not saying that we're going to for sure win. We definitely could lose. They're a solid team. But I think if we're at the point where we're saying, oh, my Lord, we can't beat a 10 seed from the WCC, then we're further down than we'd like to think. So I actually am pretty confident about Friday. I was looking. Auburn is the only team, despite all of our losses this year, ranked lower than them in the net that we've lost to this season, and we know how that ended. So I'm actually pretty confident. And then I think for the draw, I'm not saying we're going to make a magical run, but I really don't think you could have picked a better region if you wanted to make a magical run. You look at some of the other regions and some of the other places that were possible. Both places are very drivable for Kentucky fans. I personally am not high on Virginia as a 3 or Tennessee as a 6. Now, Iowa State is a very tough team, but this year, guys, the top 7 or 8 teams are all really tough. And when you're 7, what are you going to do? I think Sunday, personally, maybe where our route ends, but I do think, hey, they don't play the games on paper. You play them for a reason, and I still think with Otega Oweh, Denzel Aberdeen, and Colin Chandler, you've got good guard play, and if Colin Chandler can be consistent, and hey, that's what wins in March, so we've got a chance. And I like the draw for the situation we're in.
I'm right there with you. If either one of those teams, Santa Clara or Iowa State, good outside shooting teams, if they have great outside nights, then you're just going to get beat, and that will probably be that. I don't think anybody's going to be shocked if this team's story, if this team's season comes to an end in St. Louis this week. But that being said, the alternative can be true. If they have off shooting nights, if UK outshoots them from the perimeter, then it probably almost guarantees a UK win. So you got that to look forward to, or that to worry about potentially. Kentucky's got to be better next year. You agree with it. Peak agrees with it. We're all on the same page. UK has to be better. Mark Pope, I'm sure, would agree with it. Injuries have played a role this year. Dylan, one thing that I'm always intrigued by with you, whether we're having conversations on the air or off the air, is you have a good feel with the donor base, probably more so than I think a lot of people that kind of rub shoulders with the media. Is Mark Pope going to have $22 million to throw around? And whether that number was totally true or not true, do you ever get the sense that some donors are, I don't know if I want to keep giving this dude all my money? Because that's when things really start to go south.
Okay, I haven't tweeted about this because, tweets can be taken the wrong way. I was actually kind of hoping I would be on a radio show or I was going to write a post about it on our website. I talked to Peak about this a little off the air. I'm not one of these people that claims to have sources. I don't. That's not my gig. I do this to take pictures and have fun and cover the team. This is my passion. But I do have a really good relationship with quite a bit of the boosters. That is my one insight. And I'll say this. I think next season, I know, next season he will have major support. There may be a one-off booster here or there, but the ones that really matter in this program are going to be there because here's the difference, guys. At the end of the John Calipari era, and I'm not trying to bring up old stones, there was a lot of strife between the donors and John Calipari, and they would be like, yeah, we'll give some money, but here's the thing. I was talking to boosters, and they think, hey, he's got to fix it next year. He does. But they're going to give him the opportunity to fix it next year because they like every fan, they really, really, really want it to work. They love this guy. They love the way he represents the university. They love everything about him. They probably have some of the same reservations that we have. That's not word for word what I've been told. But they think next year needs to be better. That's no secret. But they are going to give him the opportunity to do it. And I know the financial support will be there next year. Now, if it keeps going like this, I don't know. But I don't think they're at the frustrated point because I think they understand as a collective of boosters that it takes that to be successful. And they like this guy so much that they want to exhaust all options to make sure that he has the opportunity to be successful. And then if he doesn't, hey, it was a bad hire and we love the guy and we gave it a try, no hard feelings, we'll move on to the next one kind of thing.
That is the benefit of being a good guy and not being a Billy Gillispie type, which Billy Gillispie obviously had a million other things going on, is that even if things aren't amazing, you like the dude. You talk to him, and I know you've obviously spoken with Mark Pope. We had him on a long time ago. We'll probably never get to be able to have him on again. But he's incredibly personable and sociable. And you talk with him, and I could see if I had a bunch of money, which I most certainly do not, but if I had a bunch of money, it'd be like, all right, I'm on board. I can get behind that message. So that's good to hear that he will have resources and money to play with next year because that's when it starts to feel like the lights are really going out on a program or at least a coaching staff is when the money stops. And I think you got that with Mark Stoops at the end of his time at UK football. So that's good to hear. Do you get any sense that Kentucky could actually land Tyron Stokes? Could they be a player there, Dylan Ballard?
I mean, the money is there. I'm not saying they're going to be able to just say, hey, write a blank check to this kid. But what I am going to say is the money and the support's there. And as far as, like, intel on recruits, I mean, a lot of times the people I talk to just can tell you how the support's going to be. I have no intel on it. So I'm not – I mean, it doesn't seem like it's over till it's over with this kid, but that's me reading Jacob Polachek and Jack Pilgrim just like you guys are. Sure. On that front, I know the money is support's there. I think it's just going to be – and I'm not saying, like I said, a blank check, but the money and the support is there. It's just what's this kid going to do? As much as I would love him, it seems like nobody, not even himself, knows that.
Yeah. And again, I think it comes back to a money sort of deal, and that brought us into our first segment conversation with Yaxel Lindenborg. Dylan Ballard, do you believe that UK offered him $7 or $9 million to play in Lexington this past season?
I sent a text yesterday to someone that would know that answer, and they said there was no chance in France that number was offered to him. I get why Yaxel wants to say that. It makes him look more valuable. It makes him look like the ultimate team player. It makes the Michigan program look better. I'm not saying the kid's lying. Maybe it was inflated in a joking matter and the person used the quote a different way. I'm not saying anything bad about the kid, but there was no chance in France that was offered to him.
Yeah, no way. I completely agree. And
the person that I talked to said that they're not. That just did not happen. I mean, no better, easier way to put it.
It does make me feel better, Dylan. It seems like the boosters are going to get behind Mark Pope for year 3. That was something I was concerned about going into next season, going into the off season, which is probably coming up here, hopefully in the next few weeks, I guess. You talk about there's a number already out for Tyron Stokes, $8 million for Tyron.
Jeez.
Do you believe that number?
I'm going to be honest. I personally don't, but it's also me just thinking it looks better for Tyron Stokes. It looks better for the university that they have money if it's going to work or whatever. I don't believe any of these numbers, if I'm being honest. You know what I mean? I don't believe the $22 million.
Mm-hmm.
But, that's probably me just being a skeptic. So I have no idea or no intel, but I don't believe it personally. But I think it's high. I mean, it's going to be the highest player in the class, and it should be, but I don't know what that number looks like. I know the Monster got a ton last year, but who knows what numbers are true anymore.
We're talking with Dylan Ballard, Sea of Blue. Follow him on social media at Dylan Ballard _UK. Hey, those money people, those donor people that you're brushing elbows and shoulders with, Dylan Ballard, how are they feeling about Will Stein and the football program? And I've loved everything we've gotten to hear from Stein as spring practice gets underway.
I'll tell you guys this, and then I'm going to hop back into a meeting. I think Will Stein is going to be taken well care of. And, we talked the other day with some folks, and I don't know how long the system's sustainable, a big picture, and they're going to figure that stuff out, right? They'll have to. As far as the big picture, I don't know if it comes through Congress. I don't know. I'm not saying I'm for or against anything. I'm just saying they're going to have to figure all this out. But I do think for right now, with the current setup, he is going to have the support he needs. And you see that with the level of people they're at least bringing in for recruits and meetings. And I hope everybody comes out on April 18th to celebrate this new era because it's going to be fun, I think.
All right. No doubt about it, Dylan Ballard. You get back to those meetings, and we appreciate your time, and we'll see you in St. Louis.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
All right. Dylan Ballard, everybody. Make sure you're following along on social media. Meeting times for Dylan, and then hopefully he'll get some of that Texas barbecue while he's down there. What's St. Louis is known for barbecue too, right? What's their food thing?
I don't know. Kansas City's barbecue.
What should I get excited about to eat in St. Louis? Obviously, I've been to St. Louis before.
Let's look it up real fast.
They've got a steakhouse that I think is really famous there. Not St. Elmo's. That's in Indy. But I don't know. That's a good question.
What is St. Louis known for?
The Gateway Arch?
Yeah.
You ever been in it?
I have not. We'll be doing that. Okay, their thing is famously known for unique culinary comfort foods featuring toasted ravioli, thin crust pizza, and gooey butter cake and pork steaks. Okay, so there's not one thing.
It's not
like Chicago's deep dish.
St. Louis, not known as a food city, and that description right there would seem to suggest. Oh, the guns are out, folks. We got to get the camera over here on Peak. He's not been skipping arm day over here.
Got a little hot. Got a little hot over here.
But yeah, I guess St. Louis not really known for food, but excited. We're not officially 110% locked in, but probably pretty close to like 98%. So I think the only thing that would kind of stop us, which knock on wood, and this happens nonstop, but a kid getting sick would probably be the only thing at this point that would
can't rule that out.
Can't rule it out. It happens all the time. But yeah, I'm excited. It's fun to go out, watch the Cats on the road.
Drive.
Even if expectations aren't overly high for this March.
TJ, make this make sense to me. Jack and I are gonna get on the road tomorrow at around noon or something. So I'm gonna try to do the show at some. We'll figure it out. But so he's driving from Shelbyville, and it's a 4-hour, 17-minute drive from Shelbyville. I'm driving from Louisville, and somehow it's 4 hours and 13 minutes.
Yeah, interesting.
How does that make sense? That didn't make any sense to me. But
that is interesting.
Yeah, you still have to go through Louisville. I made sure I searched it too to see if that was correct.
Aren't you out like in Fern Creek though?
Yeah, so I do have to get on
maybe
the Gene
it's like
Snyder.
You're just having to kind of get on.
Yeah,
and
maybe
get through different things, and he just gets right on 64, and it's a straight shot.
Could
from
be
like
that.
a mile standpoint. He's probably further, but the old Corey Price as the crow flies.
Yeah, straight.
How many miles is it? How many miles is it?
Man, when he asked this on Thursday, we'll already know.
I was doing the Corey Price bit.
No, I know. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to going to the Arch. Hopefully we're there for multiple days. The weather's going to be great on Saturday for our drive home. No, I'm kidding.
Whoa, I get what you're saying.
No, we'll be there. We'll be there on Sunday.
Well, I'm saying Saturday, win or lose. Again, this is actually true. By the time I check into my hotel on Friday, Kentucky could have already been eliminated from the NCAA tournament. So we're staying Saturday, whether or not the Cats win or lose, and then we'll determine what we do on Sunday. You're getting old, and I'm excited to go to church at a cool old church in St. Louis. I think they've got a cathedral that's the bee's knees, supposedly.
That's cool.
Producer Matt, have you ever been in the Arch?
I have not.
Wow.
Have you?
Yes, I think I've been in it like 2 or 3 times.
Is it worth? So it's worth it if you've gone more
I don't
than
know if
once.
I've ever even gone to St. Louis in my life.
I don't think I've been
before.
3 times. You've never been to St. Louis?
I don't think so.
Driven through it, certainly. No.
Maybe when I was a kid. So I haven't traveled a lot ever since I was a little kid. When my parents were still together, we traveled all the time, but we always flew, so we never drove anywhere. So no,
cool.
I'm gonna say I haven't.
I've driven through St. Louis several times to go cover games in Columbia, Missouri. We had to go there recently. I don't know what it was for, but it wasn't to Columbia. To the Arkansas game. And we were discussing what the traffic will be like, and I know I'm probably jinxing it here, but every single time I've driven through St. Louis, even during rush hour,
oh boy,
nothing.
Oh boy,
I know.
So good traffic town is what you're saying.
Yeah,
Okay.
that surprises me every time. I'm like, oh man, we're gonna be hitting St. Louis right at like 5:15, and then we just go right through, no problem. So,
well, if you got any recommendations, send them on in 502-414-1450, especially food. And then if I've got to eat seafood on Friday, maybe a seafood recommendation potentially, or pizza. But then it'd just be cheese pizza, which whatever.
It's fun.
Like cheese pizza's good, but like the best cheese pizza versus good cheese pizza, is it really that different?
True,
you know
true.
what I'm saying?
In some cases,
but like
deep dish cheese, that's.
But like the best, just regular pizza with fixins on it and stuff. Versus
But you can
a
still
good
get like
pizza.
a veggie pizza.
Yeah, you can get spinach, and I'm not.
We put broccoli on the pizza last night. It was good.
Broccoli, I'm down with.
I'm pizza shaming you for that one.
What's wrong with broccoli on a pizza?
Broccoli on a pizza?
It's a little unorthodox, but I'd say it's better than pineapple.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
Not a big fan of olives either.
Olives are out. I got that out.
Yeah,
anchovies
green peppers,
out.
banana peppers.
Peppers, they're okay. They don't really help it.
Depends
in my
on what
opinion.
kind of pepper we're talking about here.
What kind of pepper do you like?
What about jalapenos?
Yeah, jalapeno. Yeah, I can do that.
I can do jalapenos.
A couple jalapenos?
Yeah.
Why not? All right, 502-414-1450, Game Day Men's Health text line. The arch is dumb. It's just like going to the top of a tall building. It's kind of terrifying for a little while as you're going in that like little elevator. If you're claustrophobic, it's not the coolest thing in the world. But I do recommend everybody do it. I've never been in the Statue of Liberty, but if I ever have the chance to go to the Statue of Liberty, I'm probably going to do it just to say that you did it. If I'm in Paris, I'll probably go to the Eiffel Tower just to say that I did it.
I have yet to do the Statue of Liberty because I don't want to take the ferry over. I don't know. It just feels like a lot.
I would be all right with that. I've only been to New York one time, though, believe it or not.
When did the arch? When was it constructed?
In the 60s, I think.
It was 1963.
I was gonna say 63. That's pretty cool.
Go with your gut.
And then Louisville tried to have like an arch answer. Do you know that? We tried to answer the arch.
What was it?
Some might call it an arch rival.
An arch rival. There you go.
That's beautiful. I love that.
We came up with the Bingham Fountain. Are you familiar with the Bingham Fountain, Stephen Peak or producer Matt?
No.
In the middle of the Ohio River, just like, if you're out on the Yum Center looking out the balcony at the Ohio River, just right out there in the forefront, we built a huge fountain, a fleur-de-lis fountain.
Oh.
And it shot out water, as fountains often will do, and it cost, I think, like $2 million, and it sucked, and it didn't work.
They took it down. Oh, it broke down after an explosion.
Yeah, so what happened was the Ohio River is not clean. I'm not sure. A lot of people don't know that about the Ohio River.
They don't.
See a lot of people bathing and swimming and drinking in it, but it's not the cleanest water you're ever going to find. Cleaner than it was, but still a long way to go in its cleanliness. And a bunch of trash would get sucked up into the fountain, and it would just constantly be broken. So, and then flooding obviously didn't do good things for the fountain, and Louisville floods every year. So it was a bit of a chore to keep it operating, and they eventually just said, we'll take it away. I think it's still just like in some cove somewhere or in storage somewhere, just kind of chilling. But yes, we did try to have an arch answer in the city of Louisville.
This was our arch answer?
That was the arch answer. They thought, no, I'm not kidding. You're laughing at it, but they thought people would come all over to see this fountain in the middle of the Ohio River, similar to how people would come all over to see the arch. That is not a joke. That's Louisville for you, so instead we settled for a Topgolf 30 years later.
Do people really travel to St. Louis for the arch? I feel like they go to St. Louis because they have a reason to go, and then, the arch is there. We should do that,
I think that's probably more likely. But when you think of St. Louis, what do you think of? And when you think of Kentucky Roll Call, you think of my father getting thrown out of the McDonald's, hour number 2. No fussing. There's no way the story lives up to it at this point, but I will tell it when we start.
Done yet. You personally, I think we ain't done yet.
With Walker and Peak.
Welcome back. Hour number 2, Kentucky Roll Call on Big X Sports Radio, 96.1 FM, 1450 AM. Thanks again to Dylan Ballard for joining us. If you didn't get to hear that interview, producer Matt, what do you have to say for yourself, buddy?
I apologize. I was trying to get him on when we were coming back from break and was just juggling, trying to bring us back and get him on at the same time, and I forgot to hit play on the
You really did it this time. We get into a heated debate, and then all of a sudden you forget to record the podcast.
Maybe I did it on purpose.
A lot of people are speculating. A lot of people
are saying it's factual just because TJ said it.
There you go. A lot of people are. But I do recommend, again, Dylan just has a bit more inside info with some of the money people. And so I take his opinion on that stuff. It's more than just an educated guess when he's talking about the donors and how the money is going to be spent at UK. He hears some things. So I would recommend going to the YouTube page to be able to hear that interview. It will still be there in its entirety, right, Producer Matt?
Yes, it's always on YouTube.
Always on YouTube. Audio quality, not as good, we know, but at least it's all there. You can listen in 1.25 speed, 1.5 speed. I just legally have to mention it. I legally also have to mention the Big X Sports Radio golf carts, hot off the press. You all did not sell out of them on day one, unfortunately, so I've got to come back and mention them again on day two. 2026 Big X Sports Radio golf card is the best deal in the game. You can play Park Mammoth, Old Capitol, Elk Run, Valley View, Wooded View, Christmas Lake, and Santa Claus, Indiana. The card is valued at over $350, but you can purchase yours today for $149. Supplies are limited, so you can get your card today at bigxsportsradio.com or call 812-725-1457. That's 812-725-1457, or go to bigxsportsradio.com. They will run out. Usually it's a little bit before Father's Day. Don't wait. Just go ahead and get it locked in today, and the sooner you get it, the sooner you can start playing those courses. And again, if you've just looked at some of the greens fees at some of these courses, I think two rounds, and you're already getting your money's worth. And then if you get a third one, it's almost like you're getting free golf. So highly recommend the Big X Sports Radio golf card. It helps the station out as well. BigXSportsRadio.com, 812-725-1457. So a lot of my mornings start, they start at like 6 a.m., but around 9 a.m., and I'm very blessed and lucky and appreciative that I get to share some office space with my dad. He's got his own office, and I've got mine, but we run into each other, and we're right next to each other, and that's great. That's great that we appraisers are independent contractors. So, again, we just kind of share office supplies more than we work together. I don't really work with anybody, but I'm very appreciative for it. And around 9 o'clock, not every morning, but a lot of mornings, peak, I'll get a text message, and it'll say, do you want Chick-fil-A or McDonald's? And some days I'll say nothing, but most days I'll be like a hash brown or maybe like a chicken egg white grill or something like that. Just not like a huge breakfast, but like a little snack. And very appreciative for that. Very nice of him to think of me and to go out of his way. Well, I think he's going there anyways for him, but maybe not. Maybe, who knows. This morning, the text said, what would you want from McDonald's? And normally it's just a hash brown, which is delicious. I mean, just totally undefeated. One of the best fast food menu items just that exists. Just the classic plain hash brown. So that's what I'm going to get. And you get the text early, but it's normally like an hour. It's right around like 10:30 or something before he gets into the office. And he's older and just takes his time, and he's doing things, maybe runs another errand too or whatnot. I don't care. Mm-hmm. Today it's like 10:45. He's not in. It's like almost 11. He's not in. He eventually gets in. Doesn't have McDonald's. Has a Chick-fil-A bag, which is just, again, not totally uncommon, but just weird that he said one and he's got the other. He's a little disgruntled.
Yeah.
He's a little distressed, you can tell. It's not uncommon for him to tuck he's in such a rush that sometimes he tucks his shirts into his underwear, and then he'll go out and do inspections like that and stuff like that. This was an underwear in the shirt kind of day. Like, he was just too disheveled to be able to kind of get cleaned up. He says, well, I didn't get your food at McDonald's, so I went to Chick-fil-A. And I was like, well, what happened? He's like, I'm not going back to that one anytime soon. It's like, well, what happened? He's like, well, I'm in the drive-thru, and I can barely understand the person because of the microphone sort of deal. And they're asking if I have an app, and I do, but it's not working. And it's just like, oh, no. One, was he just talking to the computer? Like, you know how they always start with, like, hey, do you have your McDonald's app today? And then you're like, no. And then it's like, all right, what you want?
Yes.
It's like, It's like that was one voice, and then that was a completely other one.
Two different tones.
So, I was like, is he just talking to the computer and getting very frustrated at a potential computer?
Yeah.
Probably not. It probably was like probably a person. But then I just imagine this older gentleman just yelling out of his phone, like out of his car window, like, it's not working. I'm telling you the numbers on my app, which, by the way, the McDonald's app does suck. I mean, it is just a dumb app. Like, can I just get an app that I don't have to sign in every time that I open it?
Is that what you have to do in that one?
It's
like FanDuel?
Oh, man, don't even get me started. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, though. Like, all right, if my McDonald's account gets hacked, I'll live. Like, life will go on. Oh, but it's got you tied to the other stuff. Well, I don't want it tied to other stuff. Let me put in my stupid email with an email address, and then every time I open the app, just let that be that. I don't need to log it. I don't need to tie it to my social medias. I don't need to put in a social security number. Just let it. Oh, the app is really dumb. So to my dad's credit, I'll give him some props there. It's just a frustrating app. They make you, like, do a code or something like that.
It doesn't really even have to save your credit card. You can have it set up through Apple Pay where you just deposit money into it. You could do that, too.
So my dad, and also,
you should be able to.
My dad is the type of dude who, like, unprovoked, this is actually true. I think one year for my Halloween party, he just dropped off like 70 pumpkins. I was just like, well, nobody asked for that. I don't want them. Where'd you get them?
He dropped 70 pumpkins off at your house?
Yeah, for one Halloween party, like 10 years ago.
Man.
But then on the other flip side, if he like sees a penny on the ground, he will dive under a car to go get it. Like, he'll just waste money on stupid little silly things.
U.S. currency.
But then on the flip side, he'll see a quarter and he'll risk his own life to be able to.
They don't make pennies anymore. They're going to be rare.
At some point, I just want to tell my dad, like, ditch the app. At best, you're getting like 10% off potentially for this frustrating app. Just move on from it.
Yeah.
So, but he's telling them, like, I'm going to come in the store. We got to figure out this app. So he goes to park. I mean, who does this? But he goes to park, and this is just him telling it. I want, like, the office videotape of, like, the security camera at McDonald's to see what actually went down. Because this is just coming from him. I haven't cross-sourced it or anything like that.
You haven't? Do we want to call McDonald's?
I haven't gotten Yaxel Lindenborg's account of how all this went down, but he's the beacon of truth, so I'm sure it's probably his way it went down. But he goes in there. They have more issues with the app. Whatever reason, I mean, he's probably just not able to log into his account because I have to do that with him at the office, and he's probably just. These people are probably trying to work with him, but also he's frustrated. They're probably getting frustrated, and all of a sudden he hears, we're not serving breakfast anymore. And that really ticked him off.
Oh, because it was just past
10:30.
Oh, no.
He was like, I ordered the breakfast. I've got the order for the breakfast. I'm just trying to use the app. And they're like, well, we don't have breakfast anymore. You're not getting served. And he says, I've been trying to damn order for 20 minutes. We're not going to get cussed at. Get out of our store.
Did he go? He's swearing at them?
He said, damn.
Oh, okay. Well, we can all handle that.
He got kicked out of a McDonald's, Stephen Peak. He didn't get his breakfast.
This is a bad day.
Didn't get the app figured out.
So then he couldn't get breakfast at Chick-fil-A then either, right?
No. Yeah, it was too late for breakfast altogether. You're right. Yeah, I had to think. He got me some fries from Chick-fil-A, which are always great, by the way. Always great. Can never go wrong. Not healthy, obviously, but you can never go wrong with them. And, yeah, so he comes in. He's really mad. And I will say this. While I know my dad, and he can get frustrated, and having to deal with his passwords for all his accounts it can get annoying. But he's your dad, so you do it because it's not that big of a deal. But I can understand why a random McDonald's stranger is just like, dude, I don't want to deal with your app.
Right, yeah.
I just am trying to work. But on the flip side, the breakfast thing was a low blow. And I've told the story of when I was at a Popeyes one time, and it was like 8:50, and they closed at 9, or 8:45, and they closed at 9. And they came on the PA, and they were like, 1 moment, please, we'll be right with you. I'm like, no rush, no biggie. Like 5 minutes later, they're like, hey, sorry, we're swamped. We will be with you in just a moment. I'm like, all right, no big deal. And then it's 9 o'clock, and they just shut off all the lights, all of them. And they come back on the announcer, and they're like, sorry, we're closed for the evening.
Wow.
And I was like, you losers. Why wouldn't you just tell me that you didn't want to make me any food? And I wouldn't have to sit around for 10 or 15 minutes. This is similar to that. Like, he was there, he says 10 minutes before 10:30.
Okay.
Was trying to order a breakfast. Let the poor old man order a breakfast.
Yeah. Do they
if
all
he just wants some breakfast food, let the guy get the breakfast food.
At 10:30, they swap out all of the equipment they need for breakfast.
Apparently,
it
self-destructs. It implodes. Right at 10:30, the little sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit, poop.
You can't do it.
Yeah, and they're gone. They're gone just like that. My guess of how it went down was probably he was frustrated with the app, probably didn't have the right tone. They probably didn't appreciate his tone. He probably didn't appreciate their tone. You know how this stuff goes back and forth.
Yeah.
And then once he probably got worked up about the breakfast, they were probably all too happy. Just be like, dude, just get out. Just get out.
My dad
can we let out of McDonald's this
morning. Why is it that we cut off breakfast or I guess because people want to eat lunch right at
Didn't they make a big to-do about their all-day breakfasts, too? Like
they did.
3 years ago?
Yeah.
It came and it went already?
Yeah.
Just like the cheese stick.
For 5 years, they did all-day breakfast. I was looking this up, actually. From 2015 to 2020, then COVID happened, and they said no more all-day breakfast. Everything changed with COVID. Like, everything. There are so many things. There are so many little small things that are still lingering because of COVID. The Walmart next to me used to be 24 hours, and it's no longer 24 hours. They used to have popcorn up at Kroger Field for the media. They don't do that anymore.
Unbelievable.
The COVID. Yeah, just little minor inconveniences that are still. It's like COVID became the excuse to let's just take all that stuff away. Why were we still doing this? All day breakfast. I've always thought too. I will start eating lunch. Like today, I ate lunch at 11 because I got to do this show from 12 to noon. So 11 o'clock kind of becomes like I quickly eat lunch, before I leave. And can we not? Why 10:30? Why did it take 30 minutes to switch over to the lunch stuff?
It's a good question.
Because who's eating lunch at 10:45?
Yeah.
So why doesn't it just?
I'm okay with eating an early lunch.
That's fine. But how about? But more people, I feel like, are going to go to McDonald's for breakfast at 10:30 than they will for lunch at 10:30.
Yeah.
So can we not just? It's 11 on the weekends.
St. X, there was a lunch period that was at 10 o'clock.
Oh, that sucks.
10 to 10:45, the C period lunch. And they would rotate lunch, so you'd never have it 2 days in a row. But if you did have C period lunch, you did have it twice a week, where you were eating lunch at 10 o'clock, you were done with lunch at 10:45, and you did not eat anything again until 3 o'clock. I mean,
why didn't they let us have,
snacks?
Snacks in the classroom. What was the reasoning for that?
Because, some 14-year-old or 15-year-old kid is going to abuse that to high heaven.
But
it is just a snack, as these, smoking ribs.
Okay, but there's a line that you could do. Because when you get to college, everybody's bringing drinks and snacks to class now. That's what we're doing.
I thought that was really cool, too, to be able to do that in college.
Yeah. So maybe you let seniors in high school. You know another thing teachers need to let their students do?
What's that?
Watch college basketball this week.
Of course. Yeah. If you're a teacher and you're not putting college basketball
put
on
it on the
TVs,
projector. You don't even have to roll a TV in anymore. Because it's all on the computer. So it's hooked up on most classrooms have projectors.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just have it on that.
Rule of thumb, do not upset people handling your food. If you've given it afterwards, you really want to eat it. Totally agree.
Yeah, I get nervous.
Totally agree. The whole DoorDash stuff always really worries me a little bit, too.
Well, a lot of the time it's sealed.
Especially when it's tip incentivized, is there a DoorDasher out there that sees that you lowered the tip from 25% to 20%?
Do you do that?
And I don't know, maybe someday. You don't know if finances can change. Do they see that and they're like, oh, you know what? You SOB.
As somebody who's done it, you don't see what they tip at all. It's just put all of his in a lump sum.
I thought.
Really?
I thought they started doing it.
That's good to know.
When you
honestly.
pick up, because I would just do it on the side for a little bit for extra cash.
Sure.
When you pick up an order, it just gives you'll make $10 off of this one. That's all it says.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So you don't know.
You have no idea.
Oh, you have no idea the tip.
So you don't know if maybe they just spent a ton of money on food or if they're giving you a very gracious tip.
Yeah, you have no. Now when you see it, you're like, okay, this person either spent a lot, they either ordered a lot or it's just like that.
You have an idea probably.
So they've done studies on this, and apparently if you tip before the food arrives, and it's supposed to incentivize the driver. Well, what's happening? The more that you pre-tip, the longer it takes for your food to get there, because there'll be some guy far away who will see, oh, I'm getting $30 for this. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Whereas opposed to so he'll drive further to get to your stuff.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I do that on purpose, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So if TJ were to order something, I'd be like $40. Okay, I'm gonna actually. I'm over in kind of St. Louis right now. Might as well make a trip back from the UK game. Pick us up on the way there. Maybe check into my hotel. Have a couple of his fries.
On the flip side, if you are somebody, I'm not saying you did this, producer Matt. I would almost guarantee that you did not. I'd be shocked to learn anything otherwise.
No, I did not.
But if you are messing with somebody's food, you are the biggest loser on earth. Like if you're in a position of trust to handle and take care of somebody's food, I don't know. Isn't there like a doctor's code that you're always going to do your best to try to save a life or something like that? What's it called? Like the doctor's creed or something?
First off, don't do harm or
I think there
something
needs to be like a chef's creed. Like, I am in a position to make something for somebody, even if it's not yummy, I'm not going to do anything stupid to it.
First, do no harm. Who was it that said that?
Jesus?
It was, I'm pretty sure it was Jesus.
Another texter says, Cornito's House of Pasta is Cal's favorite St. Louis spot. He was eating there before our run to the championship game in 2014. Man, that year was fun. Stupid championship game. How do you remember that? How do you remember where Cal was going before the Wichita State game in 2014 in St. Louis? Secondly, is that the last time UK's played in St. Louis? Was that Wichita State game?
Yes. I had that up yesterday. It's it's the Hippocratic. Is it Hippocratic Creed?
Yeah, the Hippocratic Oath.
Yeah,
the Hippocratic Oath. There you go. It started with an S, though.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up on that great website, Big Blue History.
Another texter says Hammurabi's Code. I thought that's when you had to cut off your hand if somebody else cut off your hand.
That's Taliban law.
Okay.
No, I don't know. Whoa. Let's see. They are 14-5 in St. Louis. The last time they played there was at the Scott Trade Center, the SEC tournament.
That was in.
So
that was 18.
Yeah, they beat Tennessee. So they have not lost in. They have not lost since.
Hold on. Let me guess.
I wonder. Well, you might be able to get it.
Billy G's first tournament loss was in Anaheim, but I feel like there was a random tournament loss. Did I think Tayshaun Prince beat Tulsa in St. Louis.
Good call. Man, good memory. Yes, he did. 41 points.
Was the loss before or after that?
It was before that.
Okay, then I'm not going to get it.
1999 Michigan State.
Oh, yeah, Sweet 16?
That was the Elite Eight, I think.
Okay.
Right, because they...
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. They had like Miami, Ohio.
USC in the Sweet 16 the following year, or whatever it was. Yeah, okay. Those years start to run together a little bit. 99 against Michigan State.
73-66.
That ended our title run. We had 3 straight title runs, and UK fans at that point probably just assumed, like, oh.
We're going.
I have
these books at home that have all of the newspaper articles about Kentucky, like every game since like 1995. So and it ends in 99. So it was like 95. Start of 95, 96 season through 99.
Oh.
And a lot of Kentucky fans were they interviewed a lot of the fans and they were just like, "Hey, this has been a hell of a run. We're not even upset."
Yeah.
Oh,
I could see
what I would give to not be disappointed in an Elite Eight run, just to be like, man, I guess I wouldn't be this time either.
Wow, we are locked official to St. Louis. The wife has confirmed.
There you go. So Kentucky only lost one time in St. Louis since 1964.
Wow, that's incredible. St. Louis, no doubt about it.
Yep.
Well, I'm excited to get out there, and just don't lose to Santa Clauses, please. I went to see Dead & Company in St. Louis one year. The Coquilla Mounds are fun. Budweiser tour is cool. Definitely check out the Arch. The courthouse and the church near it are as cool as anything in the city. The rest of it is a bleep hole, and you should get in and out as quick as possible. Don't be messing around at night anywhere near downtown. As far as food, barbecue is about all they got, and it's fine, but it's not as good as Memphis, Texas, or Carolina. Overall, it's a dump of a town. All right, there's one happy St. Louis customer. If Matt thinks we offered him $9 million and he turned it down, then he is even dumber than I thought, says one texter. I'm going to kidnap a Protestant today in honor of St. Patty's Day. Long live a good IPA, I think is what.
Is that what it is?
Say. Yeah, that's what they were referencing. Some of the best Deli Sammys in St. Louis, pastrami. I'm not a big Deli Sammy guy. I'm just not. I can go make a cold cut sandwich in my house. All right? Cal Tucker writing about it probably is just from eating on the hill. From Cal Tucker's reading. That's how he knew where Cal went to get pasta. Okay. Park around the Arch. The park around the Arch is nice. Lots of grass space. Solid old school Italian restaurant delis in the hill. Giolia's. A texter says that Matt is right. Opinions aren't factual. Some people make decisions that seem absurd. Goalpost move. Producer Matt never said how it went down. He's just correctly stating that our opinions aren't factually accurate because we don't know the facts yet. And I know, but sometimes you have a little fun in radio and you take a couple liberties and just say it is factually true that he did not get offered $7 to $9 million from UK, even if I don't know it to be factually true. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's just so BS that I can just definitively say it's not true. And I get what Matt's doing. He's saying, well, you don't know that. He could be telling the truth. He could be. He's not, though. That's all.
This guy texted in, I, too, turned down $9 million to play at UK. Mark Pope whiff. Was that Tyron Stokes? Did he just text into the show?
That's just not something that's going on. Like, you just don't have people turning down that kind of money. But
especially
maybe
if the alternative is to have $4 or $5 million. Yeah. I mean, the only way you turn down $7 or $8, $9 million is because somebody else is offering you $7 or $8, $9 million. That'd be the only way it would make sense.
Afternoon, KRC. I know I've already texted in last night, so you can decide which text to read or don't read any of them. But even if the amount of money for Yaxel was third or half, as he claimed, how dang hard did Pope fumble the interaction for Yaxel to pass on that much money for essentially 6 to 8 months of work? And this is where I come back to producer Matt, that, like, Stephen Peak and I will gladly crush Pope that obviously he can't get the job done. Even if you're talking about the same amount of money that Michigan, why was the appeal of Dusty May so much better than Mark Pope? Why was the appeal of Michigan basketball better than that of Kentucky's basketball? Even if money was even. I'm not saying there's not issues here. I'm not saying there's not problems here. I'm just calling out what is obvious. Kentucky didn't offer this dude $9 million. I mean, come on. That being said, even if they offered the same amount of money, and I'm sure they offered a lot of money for Yaxel, even if it was more money, what is the issue with Pope? And there obviously is something. So, you know, I don't think that it's the end-all, be-all, because we don't know all the facts about it, but there's a disconnect here with Pope and top talent.
Did you see this video coming out of Midtown Manhattan right now during the St. Patrick's Day parade?
Uh-oh, no. Something bad.
Yeah, look at the fire coming from. Like, tell me, what is that? What does this scene right here kind of remind you of?
Oh, that doesn't look good. Looks
no.
like maybe a building fell down. Well, I'm not seeing that on mine, but yeah, not a really good time in the world. Also, not crazy about gas being at $4 a gallon.
No,
that's pretty dumb too.
No, not too thrilled with that.
No, I'm not. But did you? Well, the director of national counterterrorism.
Yeah, he stepped down.
He resigned. He came in good conscience support an ongoing war in Iran. So he stepped down. It's a brave thing to do. Another texter on the Gameday Men's Health text line said, hey guys, hope you're well. I am normally an avid podcast listener in the evenings. However, I've not seen your show on Apple Podcasts for a couple weeks. You may have covered this, but I'm wondering what happened. For what it's worth, I turned in today online, but I don't hear you all over the air on 1450. Please help. Miss you guys. I hate this for people. And they don't hear us be able to tell them how to hear us because they can't hear us where they normally hear us. We're yelling into the void. I will text back this person individually.
Hey, Newt Gingrich actually came up with a plan as to what to do about the Strait of how do you pronounce it again, Hormuz?
Yes.
He said instead of fighting over a 21-mile wide bottleneck forever, we cut a new channel through friendly territory, a dozen thermonuclear detonations, and you've got a waterway wider than the Panama Canal, deeper than the Suez, and safe from Iranian attacks.
Just blow it up.
So just like a dozen thermonuclear bombs. That's all you need to do.
That's a genius idea.
You got to try you should try it, see if it works.
What could go wrong? All right, John's not buying it, folks. There you have it. Another texter says, learn a new word, Matt. Another texter says, producer Matt, believing Yaxel is hilarious. Kudos for doing a fine job producing the show while also having your head up your butt. Wow! You did forget to record the podcast, producer Matt.
Yep, that one was on me. I'll take that one.
And you'll take the loss in the debate, of course.
I won't.
So it's a double.
Technically, my side of the debate was the only one that had factual evidence in it, as of today.
We'll go ahead and start calling you Maul because you've got 2 L's. No more Matt. 502-414-1450. Gameday Men's Health text line. If it wasn't the Dylan Ballard interview, I wouldn't care about the podcast not being recorded because we don't even have a podcasting home at the moment. But I'm a slightly bummed because, it's fun talking with Dylan. But no big deal. It's all there on the YouTube, so make sure you go back and you listen to that when you get the chance. All right, let's take our last commercial break. We'll come back. Scooch was not lying. The text line is going bananas today, so we'll keep up with the Game Day Men's Health text line. Game Day Men's Health, redefining men's wellness. No shortcuts, just results. Testosterone, peptides, weight loss, sexual performance therapy. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com to find a new era in men's health. We'll come back, read more of them, and get you ready for some March Madness tonight on Kentucky Roll Call.
Till a sudden misfortune came over
St. Patrick's Day segment for you here on Kentucky Roll Call and Big X Sports Radio, 96.1 FM, 1450 AM. Get the text into the Gameday Men's Health text line, 502-414-1450. Text it in. I'll do my best to read it on air. And then we'll finish the show today with a roll call pick presented by Chad Hennessy of InsureMax. Don't let me forget it. It's a fun one. It's a good one. It's one that I like and feel really good about. So that's how you know it definitely will not hit. We'll get to that a little bit later on the show. Stephen Peak.
Yeah, I like this text into the Gameday Men's Health text line. Pope turned down $9 million to have the team filmed during the selection show. I don't have any, I'm not gonna. When it happened, I didn't complain about it too much. I was busy on Sunday. I was working on this big Malachi Marino piece, so I wasn't gonna be able to go anyway. I know that it's a big moneymaker for a lot of media people. So, and I know for our website also, that just being there and people want to see the players' reactions. They want to see were they excited, were they disappointed by this? They want to read into their reactions. We've gone to Calipari's house before, and it's just you get to talk to them about it, what this meant for the players. For some people who've never played in the NCAA tournament, they get to talk about that. Anyway, it's kind of a neat thing that they do every year, and they chose not to do it this season. And I don't know that anybody would really. This would be a kind of a non-story. I mean, people would still be upset about it. But it's that they finished the way they did. Like, they have 13 losses, and then it sort of looks like you're hiding. I don't think that's what they were doing, because all the questions have been asked. Like, all the hard questions that Pope is – I mean, all that stuff's been asked about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not getting really at this point new information about his team.
Yeah, but I do think it's – what do you think about the opponent? What do you think about, going against
well, he'll have a press conference. He had his coach's show yesterday. He'll have a press conference on Thursday. I don't really know why they didn't want to do it. They said they wanted a private thing, and that's fine. It is the first time they haven't done it since, I guess they didn't they didn't have to do it in COVID. I guess it's the first time they haven't done it really since I don't know. They've been doing it since Tubby Smith. So I'd have to ask somebody who's been covering this for a long time to figure out. Maybe Mark Story would know.
So you don't have an issue with it?
Not really. It's the only reason that I do is because it's money that we lose out on our travel budget, and I know for a lot of the other media companies, and nobody is going to lose sleep because KSR lost a few $1,000s, and nobody listening to the show right now is like, oh man, I just feel so bad for you guys. No, it's not that, but there are other places where they could really use that bump and to be able to travel and get around and cover the
if
team.
you're covering college sports, everybody could use that bump. I mean, everybody could use that bump.
KSR could use it too, coming out of our travel budget.
Everybody could use a little extra bump of just having media coverage, and I do. I think I'm not overly. I'm gonna radio take it a little bit because it's not gonna sound fun if I'm just. I
know. My take is not that fun, but it's just kind of.
You should have done it. You should have instant reaction. The brackets have been released. What do you think about it? How are you feeling about it? What do you think of that matchup? How are your guys doing after 3 games, 3 days, coming up short against Florida? Everybody feeling good? Everybody excited about it? You got Ben Roberts writing dog stories. You got Ben Roberts writing, the players have dogs and they like their dogs. Because Mark Pope's not talking, dude. Let's have some basketball preview. Santa Clara, they shoot a ton of threes. You know what? They run an offense like you said you were going to run at Kentucky.
Yeah.
You did it last year. You didn't do it this year. Is there any benefit knowing their system? Iowa State, possibly in the round of 32. We know you won't look ahead, but what stands out about the Cyclones? This is things they should answer on Selection Sunday and do it. And you know what? It's not the end of the world if they decide to not have a media opportunity and talk brackets. But you know what I actually did have an issue with? They should do it because it's tradition, and that's what they've been doing since Tubby Smith.
That's
why they should do it. But you know what I did have an issue with? They should do that. They've always done it. Stick with tradition. I'm not going to cry myself to sleep because that 1 year Mark Pope doesn't talk to the media. But they do a coach's show last night.
Yeah.
Did you see his quote on why they didn't do it?
Yes, I did.
Do you want to
you want me to
paraphrase it?
No,
reiterate it?
It was they wanted to be focused. They wanted the I read it. Jack Pilgrim put out the story about it. I'm trying to think of exactly what he said. Can you paraphrase? You probably do it better than I am as I pull it up here.
Well, I thought I had the exact quote, and then the one I saw was just the link to the story, and I've even moved on from that now. So we'll get it pulled up. But basically, just said that it was best for our players to not do a media opportunity or not do a big party. I thought it would be best for their headspace to just do what we did. Right? Along those lines.
Keep the routine. Yeah, I'm seeing that. I'm reading it right now. Everything that our guys have done all season long from the very beginning, we've opened up to everybody. There's really been no filters with our whole program. And just this one moment, I just felt like it was really important that it was just our team, just the people in our locker room. Did this like hurt them last year or something?
Keep reading. Finish.
Okay,
that.
it's actually the only moment we've had the entire season where it has just been us. What is that? What are you talking about?
That's the part I'm looking for.
And it just gave us an evening, a short evening actually, to kind of have some very personal, private conversations and to take them. You can do that anyway, though. I mean, like, I'm not upset about this, really, but that seems
I have
silly.
a much bigger, like, dude, Mark Pope is just Charmin soft. This dude is just not cut out for how cutthroat the Kentucky basketball job is.
Yeah.
And I like him, and I want him to work out.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I? He seems like a great dude. I thought it was really important that we just did this with just us. We don't do anything that way, but this one time, I thought it was a big deal. We actually had a great night. It was a very meaningful night for our guys. I think it set the tone for it to give us ourselves the best possible chance to make a magical run here. That's what our goal is, and we're going to see if we can do it. Dude, it's just not a Disney movie. It's not, everything is not a Disney movie. And you think that your guys needed to just be alone on Selection Sunday to see the brackets come out? And that was going to be what
to set the tone.
And everything is so magical and beautiful as if we're going to Disney theme parks. It's Kentucky basketball, dude. You know what will be magical? What they did in 2014 when they were a seed worse than what you are right now. That was magical. But I bet you don't have that because I don't think you've got the chops. Because every time you have a chance to come out and show some toughness, show a little hair on your chest, oh, I thought it was important that we did this with just us.
Do you know what they did at that for that tournament? John Calipari had the media over at his house.
They did, and that was about a week after Aaron Harrison. It's going to be a great story, or Andrew Harrison. This is going to be a great story. So, again, not a huge deal that you broke from tradition here. I think it's a much bigger deal that our player needed the headspace to be able to be by ourselves for magic. Dude, I just can't get behind it.
Yeah,
I want somebody that's going to be like, hey, Santa Clara, we're coming for your ass.
Yeah.
Hope you're ready. Our guys, we were so pissed with the way it went down against Florida. We were so mad Todd Golden talking trash. Santa Clara is going to feel it on the other end because of it.
Have they cut him off?
Never going to do that.
Have they cut Mark Pope off from talking to the media?
No.
You don't think so?
That made me laugh. That was legitimate.
He did say, like, okay, so the last one I was at,
just imagine.
I think it was Vanderbilt.
Get his ass off the microphone.
I think it was Vanderbilt, and he even said, like, Leanne's gotten on me about talking too much.
Yeah.
Because, he had that moment at Auburn. He said several moments this year that
he kisses.
And then then he apparently, because we go straight to the locker room after the games, but the other people who work for KSR, they went to the press conference, and they said he was really short with his answers in the press conference. And going back and looking at it, I guess he was. I don't know if that's – I don't know. I highly doubt they've said, look, we're trying to limit his exposure to the media because every time he talks, there's a negative story or something. I don't know that that's what they're doing. But I would rather him say, I would just rather not talk to the media right now. Haven't liked how this has gone, and I'm just going to – I almost rather that than saying this is – that by not having the Selection Sunday event like they usually do, that's what's going to lead to a magical run. I mean, come on, that's ridiculous. And that's the only part of it that I roll my eyes at, not even them skipping out on it. Because
I just why did you think your team couldn't be around media to see the brackets be released?
That was going to distract them too much from the game they're going to be playing on Friday?
Was Cam Williams just going to start bursting out into tears if he had to see a camera in front of his face? I doubt it, dude.
No, not Cam.
Was Jalen Lowe's other shoulder just going to implode if a camera took a picture of it? It is just, what are we, these are millionaire adults, Pete. This aren't, if it was my daughter's daycare 4-year-olds, I'd be like, this seems just like a bit too over the top protective.
Yeah.
These are millionaire basketball players at Kentucky. Oh, boy.
The mollycoddling of
Please, Mark Pope, prove me wrong on this whole thing. On this whole thing, prove me wrong. I am begging and
Do you think it was the
to.
players? Do you think maybe the players were like, "Could we have to do this?"
No.
You think it was
the players would care if they had to wear their hoodies and their headphones and go sit on the couch and act like they were watching a TV for an hour?
Briscoe was asleep the time I was there in 2017. He did not care.
I mean, I think there's a couple of them that are just flat out hung over a lot of times.
Yeah.
Who cares?
They were celebrating the championship.
They showed up. Let's read some more text here on the Game Day Men's Health text line, 502-414-1450. People giving me their St. Louis recommendations. I love it. TJ, take your daughter to Crown Candy Kitchen. I've also heard about Magic House as well. Crown Candy Kitchen. All right, I'm more excited about taking her to St. Louis and doing fun things there than anything with me watching UK basketball probably make me upset. But that being said, I love the recommendations. Crown Candy Kitchen. Also look up Pizza Babble. He has some good pizza recommendations for St. Louis. All right, Pizza Babble. Thanks. TJ, Landry Seafood in Union Station's really good. That's where we're staying. A bit pricey, but I was on an expense account. Highly recommend. Well, this is going to be an expense account for Big X Sports Radio. So hotel, they're going to be comping. Food, they're going to be comping. All on Big X Sports Radio. You just have to work here for 15 years.
All right, I'm on it.
I'm just kidding. They're not comping any of it.
I know.
Another texter says on the Game Day Men's Health text line, absolutely absurd of McDonald's to kick out an elderly man who just wanted some breakfast. Can we take down John Higgins and his business? We can take down McDonald's. Justice for Mr. Walker. Listen. My dad did text in to tell an updated version. He says at 10:28, I told the counter to forget about the app. I ordered the breakfast, and he printed out the breakfast receipt. And after a lady came by running out of the kitchen, no breakfast, and that was at 10:31. After a brief, non-productive discussion, I cussed and was told to leave. Oh, poor Terry Sr. Patrick Murphy says, got a couple different texts from Patrick Murphy here. Happy St. Patrick's Day. The best holiday is the first third of the year. In the first third of the year. Okay, what kind of clarifying are we doing there, Patrick Murphy? What are your favorite holidays? Halloween, Christmas. The Leprechauns and people named Patrick have made rules for pinching. No idea if that's right. My dad and I went to St. Louis, I think, for a summer of our MLB trip. We stopped at a barbecue place along the way. Yeah, I do wish that the Cardinals were in town. Obviously, it's not baseball season, but I have gone to a couple games at Busch Stadium. It's awesome.
I want to go.
Old and new.
Man, that thing runs right up to the highway.
I was there at the game. McGuire knocked out the eye in the Big Mac sign.
Oh, nice.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that is.
I love that baseball stadium, but
well, that was the old Busch Stadium.
That was it. The old Busch Stadium.
Yeah, McGuire wasn't playing at the new one.
That wasn't even McGuire. I'm thinking of Pujols.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know why I said McGuire.
Well, similar.
But Pujols was at the new one.
He was.
Yeah.
So
okay.
maybe that's what you saw. Okay.
It was not McGuire. I did not mean to say McGuire. There's Mark McGuire in this room with us right now. A texter said, that's awesome about Waffle House. You get to see them fix your food and brawls break out knowing they're jumping in. Yeah, Dad, maybe we just go to the Waffle House the next time. Rule of thumb, do not upset people. Oh, we got that one already. Make Matt go back and clip the interview from YouTube and post it on Twitter. If he's an actual producer, he's already be working on that. Matt, that wow, look at that.
If I find time, I will be able to do that.
That would be good initiative, right?
But
to go above and beyond?
I cannot do that during the show because therefore I have to record the show. And if I were to go and record the clip while the show is going on, you would hear the clip playing over the show and would double over.
But admittedly, sometimes you don't record the show, right?
Well, that's been twice.
I'm just saying. You said that you have to record the show just to be factually true. Sometimes you don't record.
Hey, remember we were talking about not talking bad to people making your food? I can stop your show right now.
Same applies for radio.
Matt, I'll forgive you.
You can turn my mic off. It could be the peak hour the rest of the way. You're right about that, buddy. If Matt believes that $7 to $9 million is true, then I have a Tennessee Final Four banner to sell him. Oh, yeah, Peak said that one. That one's good. Another texter says, next thing you know, Matt will be arguing that Malik Williams is better than Nick Richards. Wow! Good on you, 827. That is a callback. I love that. That's great. Trevor Kelsey was very adamant that Malik Williams was better than Nick Richards.
Which Nick Richards? Junior Nick Richards? Or
all of the Nick Richards were better than Malik Williams, for what it's worth.
Okay.
And now, as Nick Richards is doing pretty well in the NBA, and Malik Williams, didn't he get kicked off the TBT team?
Did he? No, I didn't know that. Is there a TBT team?
I definitely don't think so. I know he didn't play very much.
I can't wait for TBT.
Yeah, Nick Richards played in the NBA, and Malik Williams can't get off the bench for the TBT. Thanks, guys. We don't need to read that one on air. Pope is not built for this job. Had never even participated in a high-profile recruitment before he got here. Has no idea how to communicate with players at the level we need. It's bad. Oh yeah, I mean he's just in over his head. This season.
Even
was so
Billy
adamant,
G had
so clear.
Yeah, I was gonna say Billy G did have experience when he got to Kentucky of recruiting high-level guys, and AC Law was the first one that comes to mind. But yeah, I mean, Pope,
oh yeah, and he got to was DeAndre Jordan. I think he got committed to A&M, and we were hoping that he was going to come up.
That's
to
right,
Kentucky.
man. I forgot about. He landed Patrick Patterson.
I mean, Billy Gillespie was significantly more qualified than Mark Pope was to get into this job. Some of quotes about Ortega's leadership against Florida sounded like Pope trying to speak something into existence that's not there. I would need you to specifically bring up the quotes, but I do remember that. Are we actually buying the Stokes buzz? I'm not, but who knows? I will say just the longer it goes, the weirder it gets. You never know.
I'm still
and maybe the more desperate Kentucky gets just to throw a huge, ginormous bag at them. But you have to have somebody like that if you want this to take that next step. You have to have players like that. We don't. Certainly not enough of them. I guess Louisville is going to try now that Wes Ennis said that they're not an underdog. Oh, yeah, U of L in South Florida. What's going on there?
Have you seen the Twitter? Oh, it's so good.
I have. It's actually been really enjoyable to watch.
I've loved it. I mean, for a 6-11 game, talk that ish, everybody. South Florida, why not? U of L, why not? And let's see who goes out there and wins it. But a South Florida player, Wes Ennis, said that I don't think we're an underdog despite being the 11 seed. Like, what would you really expect him to say? But I will say I don't like the angle of the South Florida coach getting to play in front of his dad with dementia for the first time. I wouldn't like that angle if I were a U of L fan.
Yeah, I saw that, and that kind of, it puts you in that weird feeling where it's like, gosh, I want to crush these guys. But then you're like, oh, we just crushed a guy who just played in front of his dad with dementia for the first time in 10 years.
Yeah. So, those are like the March storylines when Bruce frickin' Pearl wheels out what's-his-name during the 2019 Elite Eight, where, during the game you wheel out an injured player. Why wasn't he out there to begin with? Why are you just now wheeling him out there? But you take whatever advantages you can get. But that is a cool story. He gets to coach in front of his pop in the NCAA tournament. If I said Kentucky has 9 losses going into the tournament next year, would you take it, or are you rolling the dice? I'm rolling the dice. What? You can't hurt me anymore. Oh no, it's another 12-loss season. Ah! I'm rolling the dice. I can't. It's got to we got to go into March with 5 or 6 losses for the love.
Man, it would be so good. When's the last time we did that? Well, I guess we went in with 6 losses.
22, 23.
22, yeah.
22, 23, 24, those years maybe.
We had 7 when we went into March Madness, though.
Obviously, that year that we were 6 seed wouldn't have been that year. But
can I talk about how enjoyable it was watching Bruce Pearl be on the panel for when they officially announced that Auburn wasn't in? They just kept talking to him about it over and over again.
Yeah. He's getting dragged. Bruce Pearl, not that people didn't like Bruce Pearl. Some liked him, some didn't like him. People have viewed him differently over the last couple months for sure. This Arkansas team feels, that one was from yesterday. Mitch Barnhart not supporting Cal and then hiring his replacement is one of the more absurd things in Kentucky basketball history. We were bamboozled. Well, at least that hire's really working out, though. Doesn't seem crazy now, Mitch hiring Pope, telling us to shut up and saying, did BG's baby get to be there? That's a good question. BS quote, one time, the tone. It's a wild story. They had a worker out there trying to keep the fountain functioning. Really? They just had somebody out in the middle of the Ohio whose job was to keep trash out of the fountain. I love that. Okay, another texter says, has anyone ever seen Patrick Murphy and Texter John in the same room at the same time? I have seen both of them separately. I can confirm that they're two different people. They show up to the remotes, which we're always appreciative of.
Last time that Kentucky went into March Madness with 6 or less losses was 2018-19.
Ooh, yikes. That's gross. A bracket reveal with media would have interrupted JQ's recovery process on his knee. He's so close. We did get an update on that yesterday. And it's
He's
just
not.
the most BS update ever. It's actually better. Woo-hoo-hoo. It's better, everybody, but it's not better for this week. I just hope this team keeps winning, just so they have to keep like squirming and being like, no. But right after the season ends and he starts trying out for NBA teams,
he's going to be great.
That's when it was really, really good.
Yeah.
I do think somebody came to Pope and was like, hey, dude, if you want to get these players and you want to keep getting these players, you have to butt kiss. Like, you can't act mad at his knee swelling. You need to support him and love him, a.k.a. what Cal would do and would frustrate the fans a ton. I think that's what Pope is doing. Otherwise, why wouldn't he just come out and just be like, dude, he's not going to play this year. But when it's time for the NBA, he's going to be ready to go. I don't know how much clearer I can make this.
Yeah.
That's what he's trying to do.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there was a rumor, a couple weeks ago?
Sam Bowie still has 2 better knees than Shaden Quaintance.
Shaden Quaintance. Yeah, we knew this could happen. And we knew at the first sign of, one setback, and he was going to be done for the year. You know, whether, I'm sure the knee swelling is real. I'm sure it is.
There's a small office out there by the fountain where the knobs were turned and such like that. Yeah.
Do you guys remember that video? I think it came out at the beginning of the year this year where the guy on the Cleveland Browns float, when they were showing their alternate helmets or whatever, just fell off the float in a mascot costume.
Yes, I do.
This gives me the same vibes as there's just a guy out there and he just, unfortunately fell into the ocean, fell into the river, and then that was wraps for the fountain.
I like the idea of that. There's just a guy, his job was to make sure the fountain keeps working, but he also has to just be the 24/7 mascot of the city, so he just has to dress up in a mascot costume. But he's on the clock, so he needs to make sure that the fountain's not clogged with trash and dead fish and stuff like that.
People would actually probably come out for that.
I would.
Like, that guy's been
more
working
than the Arch.
3 years straight with no break, no PTO.
He can literally only take his costume off to go to the bathroom in his little office, okay? I'm checking that guy out. The Belle of Louisville just gets to do little circles around him out on the river. People throw fruit at him.
What would his mascot be?
Of the city of Louisville?
Yeah, like what would he...
Probably just a traffic cone.
Just a straight traffic cone?
Yeah, I think if we're just doing a good persona of the city of Louisville, maybe just construction, something regarding construction. I don't know. Did you see that the Louisville City and Racing Louisville have mascots? Make them be out there. Yeah, a little hazing. The new mascots in town. They have to stay out on the little office boat.
What is the mascot? What did they end up going with?
A butterfly and a bee. The birds and the bees.
Okay.
A
horse with like a crown,
they're doing like the Muhammad Ali thing.
I get it.
The Louisville City's going to be the bees because they have genitalia. Well, I don't think that's what they're going for. Not 100% sure. And then the butterflies, they are going to be with Racing Louisville because they are delicate, like butterflies.
Float butter, like a butterfly.
I'm offended. But they're really huge mascots too. Like, they're ginormous. They kind of look like Mothman or
I gotta look at this.
What's the Slenderman? They don't look like Slenderman, but they're big enough where they could, if you saw them in a dark alley, you'd be a little freaked out, sort of deal.
We need to go back to OG mascot looks, the ones that are
it's not that bad. But see,
terrifying looks. The really scary ones.
Are the mascots going to be at both games?
No.
Okay, then
I think just the birds, the bee's going to be at the bee one, and the butterfly's going to be. I don't know. I don't know.
Doesn't make sense to me then.
USA baseball playing in the World Baseball Classic tonight against Venezuela. You all excited?
I am. It is tonight?
It's tonight.
Okay, I thought it was tomorrow.
In Miami. So that will be Go USA, close it out.
Yep.
Venezuela had a comeback win against the Italians yesterday. It's a championship game. This is for all the baseball classics.
It's crazy what happens when their manager realizes they have to win to move on.
Yeah, that was funny.
That's a smart strategy. I feel like there was one other thing. Can we play the video? Do you have the video pulled up? The Leprechaun. Can we close out with that?
Yes.
So sick of this fan base being strung along. They have no lead. The UK has no leadership right now.
Right.
Probably at the tippy top with Eli Capilouto, but certainly not on the Athletics. I can tell you that.
Tippy top.
The fountain was trouble and always stopped working.
Here we go.
What are you telling me? The Mothman's real? No, Slenderman's real. All right, everybody, have a great St. Patrick's Day. We'll see you tomorrow.
A leprechaun just taking residence in their neighborhood.
The bet. I'll have to tell you the bet tomorrow. We still have time for the bet tomorrow.
Curiosity leads to large crowds in Mobile's Crichton community. Many of you bring binoculars, camcorders, even camera phones to take pictures.
To me, it look like a leprechaun to me. All I gotta do is look up in the tree. Who else seen the leprechaun say yeah?
Eyewitnesses say the leprechaun only comes out at night. If you shine a light in its direction.
This is Kentuckiana's only locally owned sports talk. The Big X, AM 1450 and 96.1 FM. WXVW Jeffersonville. W241.